And welcome to Sunday Racing here at Laurel. First full weekend of December that we got through, Dave. And quite a weekend it's been so far. We've got a tricky card coming up. Let's see what we've got going on the racetrack here at the lovely Laurel Park.
Yep, fast conditions and some sun peeking out there. Mostly sunny today. Winds out of the west. And how about the temperature? Maybe the cold streak's over for a while here in Maryland. Going to be 50s today at Laurel Park.
Am I going to go outside in the afternoon?
I don't know. It's up to you.
I know. I'm kind of tempted now. I didn't really realize
They say
that.
it's going to be 50 something.
Check it on it. The voice of Maryland.
It is 53. Yeah.
Right now?
Yeah, right now.
Oh my gosh.
They claim.
That means it might be getting warmer. Okay, voice of Maryland with me, Dave Rodman. We're gonna dive through this card for you here on Sunday, starting with that early pick 5. Of course, in this claiming 7,500 for the girls 3 and up, which have not for a conditioned race, going 1:16 for these girls, as I mentioned. The 2 is your top selection here, Marley's Ghost. Let's take a look at that effort 2 back, and that was the last time this one saw the 2 turns.
Yeah, 2 back is what we're looking at November 17th. And a lot of trouble in this race from Marley's Ghost, who was kind of well positioned down to the inside, but you can see Ryder had a ton of horse there, kind of know where to go, kind of in the shuffle, heading for the half-mile pole, had to take back a little bit. Outer runner passes that one, and then by the time they reached the top of the stretch, kind of regathered herself a little bit there. She's trying to come back for second, but nope, got shuffled back again. Top of the lane, finally gets clear, and then kicks clear. Almost looks like a winner, opens up the lead, a length and change at the 8th pole, couldn't sustain after the trouble. So perhaps a clear trip today will be the key for the Mastery fillies' trip to the winner's circle. Jockey now is Ismario Villalobos, weight 123 on number 2, Marley's Ghost in the first race, finishing third there, that effort 2 back. Last out, Callie. No match for the speed of Tamchar, but I thought a good effort on the muddy track.
Absolutely. I think this one, it's just really you do the easy math coming back to that distance. And talking about what we just saw, I think it was it made sense that they tried to go back to the shorter last time out. So then when you kind of stretch things out, talking about just how this one on the backside was just a little bit too on the muscle, just maybe need to let this one go a little bit, because this one, I believe, no matter what, is going to end up a little bit one pace by the time this one does get to the quarter pole. I just think that's naturally how this filly is. So the placement is going to be really, really important for this one. You also go with Sweet Talia on the inside for Brandon McFarland, Angel Cruz on that inside post.
Yeah, it was just behind Marley's Ghost there on November 17th. Her last effort, that was post 6, going to the 1 hole today, and she's very consistent here at Laurel Park. 11 seconds lifetime, but 3 wins, 5 seconds, 3/3 over this surface. A little bit of a post position shuffle and change there might get her into the place spot in here, and that inside draw always a good deal. Going 1:16. Your top pick is Tres Maria's Dream, looking to rebound. She's kind of an all or nothing type filly. She kind of needs the lead. Who is the speed in this spot? Well, she probably is, but Marley's Ghost, I think, with that move and without trouble, could put some pressure on her around the far turn. Her wins have come with some slow pace figures up front and slow fractions up front.
I agree. It's a bit of an all or nothing, which is why with only 6 horses in the field, I'm not quite as concerned about that outside post coming into that first turn. Outside gate speed could prevail here for Tres Maria's Dream as we go from race 1 to race 2. Starts our early pick 4. We have a ticket. You have a treat for us a little bit later, but this starts the early pick 4 in a claiming 20,000 for the 3-year-olds and up, which have never won 3, going 1.125 on the dirt. Big difference here. Scratching the 1, scratching the 5. You go with the number 2 here in Levin, now inheriting the rail for Jamie Ness and Michael Sanchez.
1 trip around the Laurel main track at 1.125, and that video from October 28th at Parks I went back and looked at this morning kind of put me over the top on this horse here. I mean, she was stalking another Ness horse in the race. Interesting that Ness has 2 in here, the Speed of Kickstart Ness and Levin, who's a closer. Similar situation coming up today. In that race, Levin won last time out. Parkerness was the speed. Levin drops back like she wasn't going to do much at all against a slow pace. Re-rallied, got her gear going again, and then went on to score in a game victory. I think that victory was a little bit better than the neck shows there as the favorite that day against what was the lone speed of the other Ness fast runner. Two back, that first after the layoff since March. He caught a really nice horse in there named Bartlett, a three-time winner this year, whose wins this year, Beyer number-wise, have been 92, 93, and 87 going backwards. So I don't see anybody running that kind of number here in this spot. So I think Levin's on a good spot. But again, it looks like Ness has kickstartness, the 7-5 morning line favorite, perhaps as the speed, Levin to stalk, and maybe Levin can pull the same trick on the other Ness horse this time around as he did at Parks last time out. 2, 6, 7, and 4. Your Margie's Fun Son's first off the claim.
Right.
The trainer Anthony Ferrier, your top selection.
Absolutely. Going off to my notes. My notes are on a different screen. Just give me 1 second.
Yep.
Musical chairs in the claiming box with this one just throughout. You just take that note just in between Joanne Schenkel, prior to that Jamie Ness, Lacey Gaudette. So this one is going to need every little bit of that 1 1/8 effort. Last time at this distance ran against Money Room, who was a Farrier horse. So I have a feeling he's kind of spotting this one, especially for this particular distance today.
Often claimed and always consistent is Margie's Fun Son. Been in different barns here since May. 1, 2, 3, 4 claim lines you see in your past performances from Margie's Fun Son. Ferrier with the good numbers off the claim. In his last, he prompted the speed of Kickstartness, who's running against today. So I don't know what he's going to do this afternoon. Maybe prompting's not the game. Maybe kind of relax a little bit. He's very consistent. It's hard to tell what he's going to do. Margie's Fun Son, another barn, the Ferrier barn, first off the claim.
2674 for Dave Rodman there in race number 2. Let's go ahead to race number 3 in this maiden claiming 45, going 3/4 of a mile on the dirt for the 3 to 5-year-olds. Let's talk about it. I cannot wait for this horse to come back onto the racetrack. I've been eyeing him out. Coringa, let's go. Let's talk about the fact that this one is a Michael Trombetta horse for the first time.
Yeah, he hasn't raced since November 2023, was in another barn, but his first time Trombetta. First after the trainer switch into Trombetta's barn with this kind of layoff, more than 180 days away. Trombetta is 5 for 21, 24% gaudy win percentage, and a ROI of $4.41. Very strong. So Trombetta, first time. Lasix, first time. Gelding, first time. Comes out of a turf race, but he's run okay on the dirt. This race, of course, on the dirt here at Laurel Park today, and that race, his last race on the grass was, I thought, a very good one. Opening quarter was 23.5 and 46 seconds flat. He was always on the muscle down the backstretch, moved up quickly to contention, the collar a quick pace, kicked away like he had plenty left there, and then dug in gamely through the stretch, opened the lead at the 8th pole, dug in gamely through the stretch as the beaten favorite High Tech Prince beat him that day, but he said time away. He comes back as first gelding, getting the Lasix this afternoon. If he shows the kind of speed he did on the dirt, two back on the turf in this race here, I think he's a gate to wire threat in here, but looming a short price here in Michael Sanchez for Trombetta.
Yeah, this one is coming off of a 386-day layoff. I will be going down to the track from my inside studio to take a look at this one because he was such a big, imposing individual in those 3 starts, and I actually preferred him the way he ran in that effort first time out, because you can only do so much when you're on the lead. You don't have any other cards to play. This one does have other cards that he can play if he sits right off of it, but first time out, we'll see how they go about it. That horse will be taking in a lot of the money, but let's talk about some others underneath. Let's talk about Elon for Fenica Bentley with Jamie Rodriguez.
Oh, Elon.
Yeah.
He also ran against a real sharp pace against speed figures here on the turf to back. He's tried the turf, he's tried the dirt. He's kind of a trouble child.
Yeah.
I believe he goes off at the post parade out of the paddock all by himself. He's got a little bit of talent, but he's yet to break that maiden. 3 seconds, 2/3, coming back to the dirt this afternoon. I don't mind that at all, but he's got to be on his best behavior here and show me he's got a kick-through gear to win this one. Is he fast? Probably so. maybe he's going to chase. I think Coringa just tries to go to the front.
Right.
I mean, I don't think the 5 Karma's in the house is that kind of quick kind of sprint speed on the dirt. Number 1, Rapidity is an interesting one. Blinkers off on Rapidity. He's tried blinkers for 4 straight tries. Once in the Holbein Barn where he was claimed. Then a good second behind This Is Good. If pace is going to fall apart, he's the one that'll come rolling
And he
late.
will.
I mean,
He
if
will.
Elon does indeed try to pressure or is fast enough against Coringa this afternoon, that might be their only go. Then here comes Rapidity with Torrealba. We know what role he's on here at Laurel Park. JJ Torrealba riding.
Had 3 wins yesterday, 4 I think either the day or the weekend prior. I can't keep up with Torrealba's wins anymore. But 6-4, 1-3. All eyes will be on Coringa there in race number 3. Race number 4 starts the Rainbow Pick 6, and not only do we have that hit yesterday, but we also have a ticket for you guys. Just laying it out really quickly, I believe it is it was $28 before I had some scratches. There we go, $19.20. We will dive into this first leg. I go 6 wide on it. Race number 7, I do single on the inside horse in the 1, and Cruz Ramirez, a first-time starter for Brittany Russell. But let's go ahead and discuss this just wonderful opener that we have for this Rainbow Pick 6 in the starter optional 20,000, going a mile on the dirt for the 3-year-olds and up. No scratches here, so it's not easier for any of us, and it's been this. Attacking this race has been so fun for me. Let's talk about your top selection here in the number 5 Patient Capital, now in the barn of Anthony Ferry. But let's take a look back when this horse was in the barn of Donnie Barr. This is where Ferrier claimed this one.
This horse has run against much better in the past. He lost a step or so, and then finally Donald Barr on the drop here to 12.5 gets his mojo back. He back in the high life again, as Stephen would say, for this horse. And I know he's coming off a win at 7/8 of a mile. He's going into Ferrier's barn, always good off the claim. Toledo had a call in this one. He wind up going to Hornbeam, which is interesting to me. But I'm going to stick with Patient Capital here, hoping he can repeat that effort. I don't think it's a stretch for him to go a mile after the 7/8 solid score against Minister for Magic. That horse came back, ran okay the other day. Mr. Jefferson, 3rd place finisher out of that race. He has the back class and the back numbers in my book to win this, and right off the claim, I think he can get it done at a decent price this afternoon. It's the 1-turn mile. I think it's one of the toughest races on the card.
It is.
The 4th race is tough. The 6th race to me is tough, and the 8th, the 3 toughest races on the card. One of the 3 where it's kind of a bit of a spread type of a race. So 5, 2, 4, and 1. And, you know, your top pick, I don't have in the top 4, although I've been chasing him. Hornbeam, believe me, I've chased him. He's made 2 big runs. Once at a mile and an 1/8, almost got there. And then last time out, mile and a 16th, almost got there with a good pace set up ahead. Today, will he get the pace set up ahead? That's the question. I think Patient Capital is going to be right on the engine today, going the mile off that 7/8 score.
There we have it, 5-2-4-1 for Dave Rodman there in race at number 4. Just what a wonderful race. I mean, I was talking about this race, Keith Fustel, when the overnight came out. I attacked it right away. I texted him. I said, hey, this one is a doozy, and he said, absolutely. Brian Nato as well, doing our morning line. Just a lot. Any particular other ones you wanted to cover there in race number 4, because there is a lot to cover. Talk about a second in the number 2, actually, in morning thoughts for Ricky Silliman and Angel Cruz.
Yeah, a 4-time winner at Laurel, 8 seconds, 7 wins, so he's a consistent horse at Laurel. He's run against Fun Lovin' Criminal, one of his rivals again this afternoon. There's not much between them when he runs his best race. In my numbers, he had back-to-back top numbers. Can he do it again? 3 straight big numbers in a row. He certainly can win the race. And going the 1-turn mile, I think Patient Capital will be on the engine, as I said, coming off the 7/8 win. But this guy likes the lead. I think they're going to try to send him to the front. Maybe Patient Capital can stalk, and these two can quicken away from them down the lane. The 4, Fun Lovin' Criminal, first off the claim for Kieran McGee, another 4-time winner here at Laurel Park. He was beaten by Morning Thoughts and the 44-1 winner, Master of None coming back here, 64 to 1 winner, Master of None, who beat them both last time out with kind of a good trip and a surprise win. With Carlos Lopez, who wrote him that long shot score, comes back again this afternoon. Can he repeat that effort? Maybe they found his hole card. I don't know. There's 4 horses in here that are very close in numbers, but I have to end up with a 5, Patient Capital. He has some really, really good back class and numbers. I think they'll sail him over the top today.
There we go. You heard it from the Rod Dog there. 5, 2, 4, 1. They're in race number 4. Race number 5, we go to the late pick 5. And Dave, this is where you decide to grace us with your ticketing presence here. Take it away. How do you play?
No singles for me,
There we go.
but I think 5 and 6 are spread races, especially we mentioned there's 6, 4, 5, 8 with 1, 6, 9. 7th race, I'm using the horse right. You singled there. The first time starter, Cruz Ramirez. That was your single in the pick 6, a first time starter from the Brittany Russell barn. We're also going to talk about Poor Man's Lady, number 6, has some video on that horse. I'm going to go too deep in there. 8th race, I'm using the 2 I Can Run and Always Laughing off a bit of a time away for Kieran McGee there, Always Laughing. And in the last race, Hot Boss has a good opening quarter pace number. I think he's a wire-to-wire threat in this spot. And then It's a Monster Mash, who had a couple of excuses here. If the pace heats up, I know it's a short field, that's what concerns me, but I think she could get the job done too. So no singles, but it's spread, and 2 by 2 by 2.
Yep, I definitely respect this. We'll get to race number 7. Because of my race, I had to choose a single somewhere, so I will get to Poor Man's Lady in just a moment. Let's cover this late pick 5 first leg first here in race number 5, and a claiming 75, going 7 furlongs on the dirt for the 3-year-olds and up. Scratching the 1 horse, the rail horse. Pressing Concern, Dave, you have the number 8 on the outside on top, and Guapo Ness for Rudy Sanchez Salaman with Angel Cruz again.
Callie, here we have the return of Everett Song. Haven't seen him since October 2023. Obviously, his best race would more than do in this spot. Hugh McMahon, off a long time away, drops him in for $7,500 in Weston Hamilton. Name we've known here at Laurel Park, coming back in the saddle this afternoon on the class dropper. But I thought that Guaponess ran a winning race last time out, but went a little too quick in the middle stages of the race. The opening quarter was 22-1, 45-1. Good internal fractions there for Guaponess. I think they'll try to send him to the lead today. He was beaten by a 41 to 1 shot. He's orientate on that particular day, but I think the product that he went a little bit too fast, too soon. He was sitting off an outside duel there, and with strong internal fractions, ran right up into them and then flattened out late, and he's orientate kind of kept on along down on the inside to score a monstrous upset that day. Rudy Salomon, very dangerous, of course. I think it'll be a much better price, perhaps in the class dropping Everett Song in this spot. So I'm using him on there, but do fear number 3, John Hall, a horse I've chased time and time again. He's got 2 races on his form way back, a Timonium there behind Bandcamp, and 1 here at Laurel Park on a sloppy track. Not going to rain today on May the 5th when he rallied from off the pace. If they get a little busy up front and Guaponess goes too fast, John Hall could come rolling right along. His last race, he ran against B. West. B. West, a 7-time winner, 3 wins this year. Back effort's good enough to win. 3 back. Ran against Sheriff Ronnie, a 7-time winner lifetime, and 6 wins this year. I don't know what happened last time out. He was on the rail. I wouldn't call it a negative rail that day. We did have a horse go gate to wire on the inside, though, with the solo lead, but a couple of horses who were down inside came back to win on that B. West day. So I'm going to give him one more shot here with a rider. Now, it's Mario Villalobos. He's trying his hands on this gelding with a lot of good back numbers there. Don't overlook him. John Hall, 8, 3, 4, and 5.
There we go. Let's go off, and we will be right back after this commercial break to talk about the rest of Sunday's card. welcome back, and we always start race number 6, of course, with that jackpot super high 5. We also start the late pick 4 here in this claiming 7,500 for the 3-year-olds and up, a conditioned race, going a mile and 16th on the dirt here, of course, scratching the 8. Prince Fire, you go with the rail horse, Eye on the Candy for Diane Marici. Tori Alba here takes the tack.
Yeah, Ace 99's coming back, first of all, off a time away from the races here for
Right.
Carol McGee. Drops in for $7,500. Normally, I'd look at this kind of horse and think, well, he's got some good numbers in the back, but the long time away against low-level claimers, not the most positive stat for that barn. So I went back to the inside for a barn that's been on a roll lately, and that's Eye on the Candy there. Diane Marisi stable the last 30 days, 8 for 20, and a positive ROI. Their last win was end of November. They've only run like 3 horses, I think, this week or last week or so at Laurel Park, and they weren't favorites. They ran their race. So I'm going to continue to think that the barn has some mojo going here with Eye on the Candy. He's looking to be forward again. His pace was quick last time out, and in a 3-way photo, Galatians, who always loved to run second, finally got the triple life to win. Tis Speedy ran a big one there, so I think they're going to be 1-2 again. I'm going to go Eye on the Candy. Tis Speedy gets Kevin Gomez here for trainer Anthony Aguirre. Apprentice off to a more experienced rider there on Tis Speedy. Just missed in the nose bob last time out. I don't know if the pace is going to be solid. They're going to have to control Eye of the Candy's speed. Ace 9-9 coming off a time away, you would think is going to have speed, but he's also come from off the pace before. Is he revved up, ready to roll, 100% off the layoff to come off the pace today? That's the big question mark. Stats, a major question here on this kind of layoff for the barn. 1-9-6-7.
There we have it. Let's go on to race number 7 in that maiden special weight, going 3/4 of a mile on the dirt. For these 2-year-old fillies, we both land on Cruz Ramirez for Brittany Russell. Sheldon Russell gets the call here today, coming back from those races in New York. Takes the inside post, but we're still on this one, Dave.
A half to a horse named Secret Circle. Oh, you may remember from California, was very quick. The damn Ragtime Hope had 3 wins, 2 in the dirt, 1 on the turf. So if she can run, she's got some potential to move to the lawn, or they keep on going on the dirt as well. She's a filly by Good Magic, 14% with 2-year-old first-time starters. The Brittany Russell barn with Sheldon, inside draw. The works, I don't know what tilted you to her, but there's many things that have swayed you, maybe, I'm sure, to single this horse in the pick 6.
On the Fairhill work tab since August. Only 2 gate works, though. That's not something I usually go for. But with that single, the latest gate work being a nice bullet out of a decent sampling up there at Fairhill, does put a little bit more positive note on it. And it's funny that you mentioned this, because I remember riding for a trainer who didn't, the horses were always so good out of the gates, but he actually never schooled them much prior to their first run. So this may be, again, going against the grain of what I usually do, but I have seen it work before. And coming from the barn of Brittany Russell, especially with these first-time starters at the maiden special weight level, you just have to, throw a little bit of trust in there.
Well, if horse is half as good as Secret Circle, could be a real deal. Number 6, Poor Man's Lady, kind of an overlooked, underrated 2-year-old sire, Instilled Regard. 18% 2-year-old winners by the sire. This is the second start for Poor Man's Lady. Here's the video from Penn National. Was kind of rushed from the go at the race to see what they had, and then outkicked by the speed in the race, and then lost many, many spots down the backstretch and into the turn. Then an upper stretch you see there highlighted. Thanks, Steve, for that. I was trying to pick her up myself from second last position. Kind of chugs along to pick up a share in running third. So maybe she doesn't want to be rushed. I think she'll be a little tighter second time out here from the Michael Gorham barn there in Poor Man's Lady. 5.5 furlongs to 6 this afternoon. A race under her belt. And I think because of the money going to Cruz Ramirez, she'll be a square price.
Yeah, Instilled Regard being 18%, 2 for 11 with his second time as starters to help things out. Touch quickly on the number 5, Chicken Lickin' for Ollie Figgins. JV Toledo gets the call on this. I like this.
Well, Ms. Notion ran yesterday, but we didn't get to see what she had, right? Unseated the jockey at the start.
She looked fantastic. fantastic, though.
And the juvenile
Ryder.
filly got play in the race, was
Right.
5-2, right? Was certainly a contender, but I guess we'll have to find out next time out. So Chicken Ligon ran against her. Ms. Notion, well respected in stakes yesterday, debuted on the turf behind Bonfille, but that was a Colonial. So yeah, she's kind of an unknown in this spot. Number 5, Chicken Licken here for the Figgins barn, and the
Figgins,
two.
Ollie does well when he ships
Yeah,
down here.
he does. He does.
He does.
Langley's Waterfall,
Yes.
a Justify filly, a half to a horse named Realignment, who's now 2 of 3 lifetime, broke the maiden at Indiana Grand, and then went to Hawthorne to capture a other than. So she's a sister, half sister to a horse who's now 2 for 3 lifetime. Look back at that head-on shot in her debut behind Caconation. She was green as could be. Her head was kind of in the air, kind of
Okay.
looking all around, drifting a little bit to the outside.
Got it.
With the blinkers on, will she be focused? Perhaps, but will she be fast enough? That's a big question
Right,
in
exactly.
this spot, right?
Exactly.
But you gotta look at a blinkers on horse like that who really didn't do much in the debut.
Going to improve, no matter what.
Right.
Especially
so, well, if you're looking for a long shot, you don't like any of the other options. It's a $2 kind of win horse, or at least use her underneath in the exacta.
1652 for Dave Rodman there in race number 7. Our feature race is a starter optional 30,000 going a mile and 16th on the dirt for these girls 3 and up. Scratch both coupled entries, the 1 and the 1A. You and I have faith in I Can Run coming back off of that. I wouldn't say troubled trip because the trip didn't even happen at all, but
Yeah.
we get back to the 2 turns for this mare.
The trip didn't happen at all for I Can Run. The trip didn't happen at all for Flug. They both came out of the marvelous race last week, was it, right?
Yes.
8 days ago here at Laurel Park, and both had trouble. One broke in the air unseating the rider, I Can Run, and Flug had a horrid start, is a short comment. That's a fact. Too. So it was an awkward beginning for both runners. We don't know. They're coming back off time, a little short rest, but they didn't really run either. So I'm going to use I Can Run in here. I think her pace numbers are good enough from the inside draw. Carlos Lopez riding now, by the way, for Claudio Gonzalez to take them all the way in this spot. Always laughing.
Yes.
A filly that can perhaps prompt them. Kieran McGee layoff. We talked about a layoff from McGee's barn earlier on the card. But this horse is protected after time away from the races since July. Optional claiming, time away 60 to 180 days. McGee's 6 for 24 with a positive ROI. The question is, okay, she's going to show speed, but is I Can Run faster than her up front? I think, but if they let her get away with anything and she's fit enough and she's fresh,
Right.
she digs in here to hold off rivals there in that race. That was from, when was that?
March.
Back in March,
Yeah.
right? So I know just a little bit of a way back video for you there,
Still a
but
way off.
the protection off of time away is interesting.
Absolutely. 2674. Anything you want to dive into on Floge and Isabella's Glory? You kind of delved into Floge a little bit.
Yeah, can she get the flow, right? Maybe if Always Laughing I Can Run can do something together, certainly fits the flow of the race. I think she's a little bit better at the 1-turn mile when they cook up ahead of her, and then
Right.
she comes rolling.
Okay.
But she's very consistent. She's run okay at distances of ground too. So let's think about her in the mix. But oftentimes to me, I think look like you have a couple of speed horses in here, and I Can Run Always Laughing. I don't think they're going to go too crazy
No.
and kill each other up front.
Nope. 2764 for Dave Rodman there in race number 8. And our finale for the weekend is a maiden claiming 30,000 going 3/4 of a mile on the dirt for the 2-year-old filly. Scratches in the 6 and the 7. You and I both land on the number 4. It's a monster mash for Jerry Robb, Xavier Perez. Looking to come back from that effort last time out, but hey, that's not the first time a Jerry Robb horse has done that.
Yeah, lost all chance
Right.
last time out. Stumbling at the start against Concord, those we can against Maiden 45. The race was pretty much over and had to advance a little bit within a couple of lengths of that half-mile fraction, but no sustained run there. But she did have a good sustained run against Scarafia, Malibu Hooch, Safe Trust, in the Maryland Million Lassie. All stakes horses, right? Finished 4th in that race, and there have been 3 winners from her effort in the Maryland Million Lassie. That race has produced 3 winners, including Malibu Hooch. So just a slight claiming drop in here. I don't think it's much of a difference here. The maiden 45, but she's going to have to show some kind of get up and go early out of the gate, because I think the horse is going to the front here is number 3, Hot Boss. Kind of surprised you didn't pick her, right? Because you picked Eccentric last week.
I did.
What a pick that was. A big price.
Yeah, no, and that's why I went with the direction of it's a monster mash for sure, because I just expect this one, like you said, to come back from that effort. And Jerry Robb, 16%, poor last race, next time out. Again, you talk about Hot Boss, Tim Keefe, Forrest Boyce teaming up. This one had a really really nice trip. This one's going to improve off of next time out. Ran against a decent runner, decent winner that day.
Yeah, Eccentric. The horse came back to win off the maiden, popped last week at a nice price. Number 1, Diane Lee, kind of a little filly in there, but again, going for key race angle, 2 back, 3 winners out of the Nick's Notion race, including Conquer Those We Can, the horse that beat. And it's a monster mash in there. And number 5, New Boots, New Surface, right? Colonial, Turf, not much. 3.5 to 1. Didn't get a lot of respect in the tote board there at Colonial Downs for a Brittany Russell runner, but did flash some speed, but retooled since August, time away. Will she be kind of like the horse to prompt a Hot Boss on the pace this afternoon? Just didn't know what to do with her in this spot as well. And Ryland's looking lucky. Comes off a 5th place finisher behind Hot Boss with the addition of blinkers. Brushed was in that race, was a bit off slow in the race, but she's going to have to get away from the gate in better fashion. The Kenny Cox barn having a good meet as well. But I think the 4, It's a Monster Mash, will sit right off the speed of Hot Boss in here, and that'll be the top pick. 4, 3, and those are the 2. I'm using the final leg of the pick 5.
Pick 5. Right. There we go. Dave, thank you so much for diving through those races. Let's highlight your best bet and your value play of the day. Highlighted in race number 2 of your best bet at 7 to 2. Levin, Jamie Ness, Michael Sanchez.
Right. Last time out at Parks, there was a Ness runner up top. This time, another Ness runner perhaps up top and kickstartness. Levin looked beaten around the far turn. I mean, really beaten. And then got another gear outside to wear down that speed rival, hoping for the same this afternoon. The margin of victory narrow in that race, but I think the horse is a little bit better than the margin of victory indicates. Michael Sanchez aboard, and one of the 2 Ness runners there, Levin, higher price Ness.
Okay, there we have it. And your value play of the day is at 8 to 1 on the number 6 in race number 7. Poor Man's Lady for Mikey Gorham. Tori Alba there coming over from Penn National.
Well, with Cruz Ramirez taking a lot of money, I do believe, by Good Magic, the pedigree, the bullet works, the barn, etc., etc. Poor Man's Lady, a little bit rushed in her debut at Penn National, dropped back down the backstretch, lost a few spots, but then kind of rallied to pick up a share, got interested late, and instilled regard. 18%, 2-year-old sire, Michael Gorham's Poor Man's Lady. Wow. You know, I mean, I think if you use Cruz Ramirez, you got to at least protect there with Poor Man's Lady, which I did in the late pick 5.
I got a little bit gutsy, a little bit risky. We'll see how it turns out for me. Let's also discuss some horses that ran yesterday. Future possible champions there in the Maryland Juvenile Fillies and the Maryland Juvenile. We're going to start taking a look at the Maryland Juvenile Fillies there in Caprice for Cal Lynch.
Right. Made the lead, battled, kept on going, turned back, safe trust in the stretch. Kind of unlucky in the race. Ms. Notion obviously unseating the jockey at the start. It would have been interesting to see if she'd flashed some speed and prompted him just a little bit. As Onyx 10, I think, is really the horse to watch out of that race. Yep. I really think that's a nice filly down the line as a 3-year-old. You might be able to cash a little something on her. Maybe can turn the tables on Caprice, but take nothing away from her. Another stakes win for the Moneymore Farm runner.
No, I like that comment you said about Onyx 10. I think I kind of got gassed up on the horse a little bit early, but very excited to see. Keep your eye out for Ms. Notion. Caprice, we can expect her to be back here in Maryland. Let's also talk about the Maryland boys. The Maryland Juvenile here, pleasantly surprised here by Tony Eclipse, although the board didn't reflect that here, but this was a different Tony Eclipse that we saw today.
Yeah, not this time, and it's bred in Maryland by the Elkstone Group, and a big, nice number there. 82 buyer, by the way. for 2-year-old Maryland bred. That Tony Eclipse, Sacred Thunder, a little bit unlucky in the race. A horse to spot down the line. He kind of broke just a tad slow, then kind of got bumped. Had to lose a spot or two around the far turn. Angled outside. Really probably could have been second there with a little bit better luck. So both 2-year-old races, nice winners. 75 buyer for Caprice, 82 for Tony Eclipse. But other runners to watch out of that race down the line may turn the tables on those winners from our 2 stakes yesterday.
Those are going to be some future key races there, and we look forward to seeing them in the future. I'm going to get out of this man's way so he can give us some more changes and scratches.
Good luck.